Hey guys, welcome back to Chanman's videos, and we're going to continue with the tips and tutorials and resuming my build for the Rising Freedom Gundam. I prefer to skip instruction steps in the sense of I don't follow the order that they teach you to build it. I prefer building it feet, lower torso, chest, arms, head, and whatnot. That's just a little quirk of mine. So, although I did start with the two chest pieces in the previous video, I was just using them to demonstrate the tips and tricks with nubs, and I needed a blue piece to do so. So normally I would go with the legs. And as we are here with the legs, the first steps on this instruction was to apply the white stickers to these, I guess they're the fins of the fighter mode. And in my case, I didn't want to. I was trying to practice using my brush painting skills. And since these are smaller pieces, I went and I used my Citadel acrylic paints to paint it. And you see the results here with these two pieces. And then I've essentially reached this this stage here, and I've got one leg partially assembled. And I wanted to make the video here because this is where advanced building tips do come into play. If you were an individual who wanted to custom paint and without masking things, one of the tips that I learned is that you're going to have to make cuts to parts that you normally wouldn't cut off. And so with this, once you put the top piece on, because of this peg, these two pegs and these connections, these are locked in, right? So even if you snap both the right and left pieces of the shins together and you seal it, you might wonder, well, how am I supposed to paint this? You're going to have to mask this whole gray piece off to do so, which is one method. And then of course you would mask the blue here to protect it from getting painted on, same as with this gray peg here. So in order to get this left and right shin piece together but still have the capability of removing the gray knees, the fins, and this bottom sort of ankle joint, you would actually have to make several strategic cuts. So I left this separate because what we want to do is we want to cut this so that it becomes a C shape, and then you can just clip it on, right? And so that would mean if you want to do the advanced move, you're cutting right here along this part here so that you have an open mouth like a C or U. And then once you've sealed the panel line or the seam line and you've got two pieces, you're actually just, and then you paint it, you actually just snap that in, and then you get the same effect as this, but with the freedom of having the pieces removed. If you're curious about how do you do the bottom, okay, same thing. In this case, you just shave a little bit off here from the bottom. You just use your nipper and cut a little bit off here from the bottom so that like this part becomes a C. And then with these two pegs, you shave and cut that just slightly so that you have some wiggle room to do the opposite at the bottom again, and you just snap it up there afterwards. Same thing with this fin here. Right now, there's nothing to cut here naturally because you're going to have a gap there. So you would cut the two nubs or file down these two nubs, so just shallow enough that they would be able to just wiggle in and snap in, wiggle in and snap in right there. And so that's the tip and trick that I wanted to show you on how you can do that. I am actually deciding right now if that's something I want to do. I won't be sealing this I won't be, yeah, I won't be sealing that line anyways, so I actually won't be cutting it for the demonstration, but I wanted to just show you the theory of what are some of the advanced tips. You know what, I'll just do it. I'll do it for this leg just to show you guys. Okay, I'm just gonna readjust this. And so I've done that. As you can see here, I have cut that open. Here are the two pieces. And as I was saying before, you want it in a similar to a C shape so that it can snap on and off. I disassembled it so it's less plastic to cut on each piece. And then here are my two parts. Another tip that I wanted to share is if you are if you plan to be assembling and disassembling the kit because of some extra paint work, some mod work you want to do, the tip here is that because you've got, I guess we'll call them the male and female ends, right? This one plugs into this hole. You want to snip this open a little bit, and because you have similar concept where it's like a C, it just catches on to the plastic a little bit less, right? Less to lock in place. And then that makes it easier for you to separate the left and the right pieces of this leg, right? Because these two are going to be the main, these two here are going to be the main pegs that support the weight. Additionally, you can also cut these off so that there's even less to lock into. So be careful with this cut. Just again, a little bit there. And this technique there just provides you an easier way of separating after you snap these together. So let's see. I mean, actually, I should probably cut this too. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm just gonna leave that. It should still separate. Okay, so it's in there, and I am wearing gloves, so it might be easier for me to, might be difficult for me to snap it apart. But let's see how this works out for you. Oh, there you go. See, came out really easily, right? Just popped off really easily. So let's reassemble that again, because we want to demonstrate the theory. Okay, so again, if you want to, that's actually not a seam line. There looks like that's supposed to be a panel line there. So in cases of the older high grade or master grade kits, when you have a left and right piece and you have a seam line, you glue it, you seal it off, you paint it white, you paint it whatever color, and you're like, oh, the kneecap needs to go in. This is the trick. So now you can paint everything white, take all the gray paints off, pop it all back in now, and then ta-da! Right, it's not loose at all. It still has all the same articulation. It's not loose and floppy. And that's how you can have some advanced builder tips for having pieces that normally are locked in to be easily removed. So let's pop this out. Sorry. Maybe not so easy to pop out, but sorry, I can't grip it well on camera. Sorry guys, I couldn't grip it well on camera, but also, there you go, that's what it looks like. But right, so it just pops in. Hope I don't break it, because there's not support. Yeah, there's not enough support. I have to worry about breaking it, but there you go. Alright, so I will continue to assemble this kit and make little short clips to edit together and just teach little tips and tricks. as I build this kit. I hope you're enjoying it so far, and yeah, we'll see what comes up as I continue to build. Alright, so I've spent another hour and a half just assembling finish the assembly of the legs, the lower torso, and now the upper torso. And I did do some cleaning and real touch marker work. Overall though, the way the nubs and the gates for this kit is pretty impressive. I didn't have to do much cleaning overall. And this is the first time I've built a gunplug kit that doesn't use polycaps, as well as the very unique assembly design of the chest. It's pretty cool. Continuing on from the legs and showing you some of the advanced tips. I'm going to switch over here just to the heads and adjust my light. And what I wanted to film here is with the head of Rising Freedom, I started pre-panel lining it in advance. And the reason why I started to do that is I just wanted to see where the panel lines really were and what possibilities there would be where the seam lines would catch the panel line liquid and spread. And a part of me used to think that I would glue the head together, clean and remove any seam lines, sort of make the head like a helmet, right? You already have a pre-assembled head and you put a helmet on it, which is more of a real life concept when we put helmets on our own heads. But after Googling and looking for some high quality images of the F-00 Yokohama Gundam, I do see that the head itself has many seam lines with how they assemble it. And that's the closest thing you have to a real life, you have a real life size Gundam. And so having seen that the real Gundam head in Yokohama comes with so many different panels to assemble one head, it made me reconsider, do I need to clean up all those different lines? And it makes sense that an actual Gundam, if it was real life, you would have to assemble everything. You're just not going to put something on like a helmet. So by doing this, it just gives me a better idea of where those panel lines and seam lines go. Also, it's just easier to get some of it on now and not worry about having to clean up different parts later. And then I also did the panel line around the eyes, just so I can see where those eye camera lenses are in advance. And that shield has a really nice pearlescent, translucent shimmer. Alright, so for now, I'm just going to start doing the head and assembling the head. And then if anything else comes up that I think is interesting to share as a tip or tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and continue to record and edit clips together then. Alright, the head is done. And I've painted the eyes as well as the two lenses on the top. And I gotta just clean that back lens up, but there's all panel lined. It's a pretty nice head. And I did end up using Gundam marker, the blue EX version. Now there's nub marks there, but it's nicely hidden. And so far, the overall Like I was saying before, they do a pretty good job. Did I ever get to clean that? Oops, looks like I missed cleaning a spot right there. Pop that out and clean that up. Mind you, it's going to be standing like this and you won't even see it, so maybe I won't do that. But so far, that's what I've done in the last couple hours. Maybe I've about 2 hours in on this build. Okay, so I have essentially finished assembling Rising Freedom here, and just gonna share some final thoughts and stuff. Overall, it's a nice build. It's definitely a build that's very unique. I've never built this. I'm gonna say current version of HG Gunplug kits. No polycaps and whatnot, was pretty different. So I'm looking forward to building the Justice, as well as I'm going to try the Witch of Mercury. I have 3 of them, which I haven't built yet. A couple of thoughts of the kit. While the assembly is great, and the use of blending in panel lines with seam lines is tremendous. I really appreciate that. Actually, while I was in Hong Kong, I was looking for a tool which is sold out all over Hong Kong and Japan. It's a tool that you can use to scrape along a seam line and turn it into a panel line, similar to this. And I'm just going to reposition the light here. So if you look here, it does the same effect. This would normally be considered a seam line. That tool lets you scrape along the seam line, but scrape the plastic off so that it creates a wider gap, and hence gives you the illusion of a panel line instead of just a plastic seam line. So same thing with here. So anyways, that's something that I was looking for, but this kit does that naturally with the way they design it. So that's something I do appreciate. Another point, while I like the design, these 2 extra vents sticking out from the shoulder is not a design look that I like, so that's something I just wanted to share. And then the feet are way too small. The feet being very, very tiny and pointy. The heels on it cause it to lack enough space, enough, just overall width to provide a strong support for it on its own. Like, you can see it almost tilted over, and with the way the feet fold in its transformation mode, it's hard to get it to stand perfectly flat. And that's without any weight. Once I put this backpack and the wings on, it falls over so easily because it's not balanced. The weight distribution is unbalanced, and the tiny pointy feet just don't provide enough surface to make it stand flat and stand firm. Those are probably my biggest pet peeves, is the feet size and the ability to balance the weight, and these 2 vents on the side. Everything else on this kit I love. I like the design of the new head. I love that the design still remains true to the original Freedom, right? You've got your railguns, you've got your wings and backpack, the shield design, the rifle design. And what's funny is these gauntlets on the arms here, they actually feel more Destiny inspired. But overall, everything else with this kit is great. I have not applied the stickers to the wings. I'm deciding whether I would stick them on or paint it. It's an easy process to just paint them on. But I haven't done so because while they are flat surfaces, that is a lot of white sticker that I just have caution about using. Same as all the dark stuff here. I painted them. So yeah, I used right here. I used my Citadel paints, the Leviathan blue, and then I went over that with a coat of Real Touch marker. and it got me close enough but dark enough to distinguish that design there. And so I'm just undecided about the decals on the wings, or yeah, and the stickers on the wings. What else? I painted the red on, painted the red here on the back, painted the red here on the front. Now it's dark, so I might put another coat on. So if we look at the two colors there, this is darker. But overall, that's it for now on this kit. Once I finish deciding the finalized process, I will apply the panel liner and then the water slide decals. There's a part of me that wants to change the color and customize the color a little bit, but I don't have a whole lot of time to do that, so I probably will just panel line and then apply the G Rework water slide decals on it and then leave it on the shelf. So for now, so part 2 of this video will end here, and then I'll do part 3 once it's complete and share some final thoughts. But overall, this is a kit with a design that's really nice to build. Nub mark cleanup was actually quite minimal, considering how many cuts I've had to make on these kits, and it was quite an enjoyable build overall. I do recommend, if you haven't watched Freedom, watch it. You'll appreciate the kits overall, and yeah, I really hope that you would consider buying it, adding it to your collection, and yeah, enjoying the build itself. If you have any questions about any topics that I haven't covered, about the cutting of parts that normally shouldn't be cut, the design and whatnot, please drop them in the comments below. I will do my best to reply to those answers. And thanks for watching. Please, if you enjoyed the video, give it a subscribe, a like, and a share. Thanks so much for watching part 2 of this video. See you in the next one.